So good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are on this planet. We welcome you back to our Sunday Health Seminar. As usual, being a Sunday, we normally meet and we actually come and talk about matters health. You find that we like giving you solutions for challenges that people go through health-wise. And we also give you information. We also give you knowledge on how you can empower yourself, how you can make an extra income and start a side hustle out there. So today we have a very exciting speaker who is going to talk to us. She's a young girl, very successful in our industry. And she has quickly become an expert in the wellness industry. And without further ado, I want to welcome Rahab Munene. Rahab, karibu.
Thank you, Fred. Good evening to everybody. My name is Rahab Munene, an excited distributor, and I'm very glad to be here. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's wonderful session. And I would also like to congratulate you all for being here in time. So the topic that I'll be taking you through is gut health, which is a very personal topic. I wouldn't say personal in the sense of I've experienced it, but I'd say personal in the sense of I've had members and friends around me who've had this issue. So before I begin, maybe just a brief story about myself. For me, Neolife has been an opportunity I have known about since I was young. My mom was a member when I was 3 years old. So she put me through the Neolife Health program. I was asthmatic when I was a baby, and my mom put me through the products, and I've never had a challenge with asthma. So I got out of high school, and I've been passionate ever since teaching people about health, because I realize it's something that people are very ignorant or oblivious to. People are not aware of the information that is supposed to be on our fingertips, because we've left the information to be handled by our doctors, by the pharmacists, the people who deal with medical things, instead of us being aware on how to prevent ourselves in ending up in places like hospitals or taking medicine. So for today's topic, I will take you through gut health. And my presentation begins with saying a happy gut, a happy you. And it's very correct. I'll just give an example. When you have anxiety, when you're going to do anything that you've not done in a while, for example, if you're speaking in front of a big number of people and you've never done it before, you have anxiety. And we usually realize this tension begins in the stomach. It starts from the brain, and then you start feeling like, they say, butterflies. You're feeling butterflies in your stomach. Another example is when you're in love, when we are very much in love with someone, we feel like our stomach also has butterflies. Your heart is giddy and your stomach is a little nervous. It's like it's dancing up and down because of the excitement of meeting someone. So when we talk of gut health, gut is a very general thing. Our feelings, our emotions, our day-to-day lives are affected, affect our gut health. So this is something we cannot avoid. So what is gut health? What is the gut? Yes, before we get to the health part. The gut is digestion, anything from the alimentary canal, and we're talking from the mouth to the anus. So as you see my diagram, we all know digestion begins in the mouth, and then it goes to the esophagus, food is put to the stomach, and here is where the stomach now starts separating. If it's sugar, it goes to the pancreas. If it's proteins, it's digested somewhere in the small intestine. So basically, digestion happens in the alimentary canal. And we need to understand digestion is the only way we can get energy, we can get nourishment, or we can get a healthy body in our system. for you to be strong and healthy where you are right now, it means that your digestion is going on through your body, and blood flow, the nutrients that are being digested are being transported all over the body. So when we see this diagram, it says that all the diseases, majority of the diseases we experience in our body are linked to the immunity that we develop from the foods we're eating, or the lifestyle we're having. The emotional stress also affects the gut. Chronic illnesses, things like cancer and diabetes, all this could also be caused from poor gut health. So another, when we look at examples or causes of gastrointestinal disorders, the number one, actually, cause of gastrointestinal disorder is poor diet and nutrition. And when we tell people diet, they think it's, but diet is actually what you eat. That's the question. That's the statement that diet is. Now, the question is, what do you eat? Is it a poor diet or a good diet? So when you're having foods that are very poor in nutrition and a very bad diet, you will lack so many important nutrients that are very necessary in the digestion and in the movement of the food from the stomach, from the mouth to the anus. Another thing we have is food allergies. Many people experience food allergies, especially things like milk, dairy products, or gluten intolerance. And a thing about food allergies is these are things that are happening now. Back then, in our parents' days, food allergies weren't a common thing. People could eat anything and they would never have a complication in their bodies. But nowadays, we are having people who are allergic to peanuts, people who are allergic to milk. All this is due to malabsorption that is happening in your system. So we also have immunological factors. This is very poor immune system. Yani, you're deficient in immune system, meaning this can lead to a lot of troubles in your body. And one of them is the fact that the antibodies in the digestive tract cannot protect against infections and microbial toxins. And when we're talking about this, you need to understand there's something we look at, which is good bacteria and bad bacteria. And all these good bacteria and bad bacteria come from our gut. So when you talk of immune, you need to understand that your immune system is highly developed from your gut health. Another thing is the infections. We get infections everywhere. Just a few years ago, we had COVID, which was I think it's a bacterial infection, or sorry, viral infection, because it it's communicable. We also have things that are bacterial infection. We have fungal infections, and all these infections can really ruin your gut health, because you realize when you're sick, even when you have a headache, or even when you're having a cold, your gut health is very much affected. You feel you cannot easily digest food. You feel like puking. So any infection in your system highly will affect your gut. Another thing is high or low HCl, hydrochloric acid. One thing people need to understand is hydrochloric acid is manufactured in the stomach, and it's very key in killing dirt, bacteria, anything dirty. That is the work of HCl. It's an acid, and we all know how an acid reacts on your skin. So that's what HCl does in your body. But if you have too much HCl in your system, it can cause things like ulcers or gastritis. Yet, if you have too low, unapata, there's very poor absorption of things like folic acid and vitamin B12. So you should be just at the right level. The other thing is insufficient exercise. Guys, no matter how many excuses you give yourself, exercise is key. Exercise here to number it with insufficient exercise. People, if you do not exercise, it decreases the enzymes that are produced in your stomach, in your intestine, all those enzymes that are necessary for digestion. And it reduces the HCl secretion. Na tumeongea kuhusu how hydrochloric acid is important. And it leads to constipation. Have you ever realized when you feel like really going to the toilet for a long haul, and then you go and work out, after a very nice workout, because when you're working out, you're also drinking water, you go to the toilet, it flows very well. Exercise is good for that. And finally, stress. We live in a world where stress is inevitable. We cannot avoid it no matter how many times we try. But one thing I can assure you, you can control the stress. So this stress can lead to high acid production, the HCl. It can lead to something called the Crohn's disease, which we will talk about as we continue. Irritable bowel syndrome, yani huendi choo vizuri. Even if you go to the toilet, it's painful. And another thing is ulcers, which we all know about. And the sad thing that we do not know is the fact that our own children are getting ulcers at a very young age. Even when I was in high school, I think I knew almost 15 people who had ulcers at a very young age. So this stress can really cause a lot of damage that can be irreversible in our system. So when we talk about the symptoms of gastrointestinal disorders, one of the things is in the gastritis. That is one of the disorders that we can experience is gastritis. I had gastritis, actually. This is a testimony I can give. And my gastritis had developed because I was starving myself to lose weight. Immediately after high school, I got out of high school and I was a little bit very heavy for my body. I was actually, in my opinion, I was overweight because I was overweight. And I remember it really bothered me. So I started starving myself. But what happened is, when I was starving myself, I was giving so much stress to my stomach because it now started producing too much HCl. And this gastritis, what it did was it caused a burning feeling. You see, hapa inasema burning feeling. Anything I ate was burning my stomach. So gastritis, this is what the doctor told me. Gastritis is just an introduction to ulcers. Ni kama tu unajikaribisha to ulcers. So if it is not controlled, over time unajipata you have ulcers. So the doctor actually had given me medication, but this is the one thing the doctor told me, and I thank God I met that doctor. Aliniambia kula tu cabbage, blend raw cabbage and potato together. Raw cabbage and raw potato, and drink it. Trust me, it will help your stomach. And let me tell you, I took raw cabbage and raw potato for 3 days so that I could eat in peace. And that just shows you. The reason I was having gastritis is, one, because I was having a lot of stress in my system. I was stressing my body. And apart from that, I didn't have the nutrients that were necessary to fight any disease that was going to come my way. So all these symptoms you are seeing, I had them. I was, the bloating, yes, the abdominal pain, it was so bad, I could not leave my bed, and I did not want to eat anything, because when you're in pain, you don't want to eat anything. So another problem we can talk about is Crohn's disease. This is actually a very bad challenge, and there are many people out here who actually have the Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease affects the lining of the digestive tract. And what it does is, it creates something like stones. It makes your digestive tract ifure. It becomes very thick, which prevents food from passing through. It prevents the absorption of nutrients into the bloodstream. And eventually, tunaona what Crohn's can do, it can really burn the lining. It can really cause, ulceration is like it burns the lining of your digestive tract. Na unapata sasa, the moment it has burned, it becomes very painful for you to eat food, to absorb food. It becomes a challenge where now you need to start taking medication until you're feeling better. So one of the symptoms tunaambiwa that people experience from Crohn's is abdominal pain, diarrhea, weight loss, anemia, and fatigue. Remember, you're not eating well. So definitely you're going to lose weight. You're not eating enough food that gives you blood. Remember, your lining is being inachomeka. So your body is trying to send out every single white blood cell and platelets that can really help in healing that lining. So unajipata, you lack enough red blood cells in your system. And so you become anemic. So Crohn's is actually a very bad disease. And I can tell you for sure, if you develop or if you have such a challenge, it's quite challenging. It's tough on the stomach, and it becomes worse, it can become now an issue with the digestive tract, meaning whatever you eat, the nutrients won't be easily digested. So now you have to, some people can go to severe it becomes severe, yani inabidi sasa hosi kupe the food so that the nutrients can be digested. So this is just a picture to show you how your lining looks. And the reason your lining usually has those bumps is to allow the digestion, because this is actually the small intestine, as you can see. And the small intestine has the bumps that really allow in the absorption of the nutrients in the bloodstream. So when you get Crohn's, it becomes like stones, and it's very painful in your guts. And then when it's very severe, as you can see, it becomes way worse. Yani hata karibu itan color. Remember, the blood bloodstream, blood flow ya hapo inakuwa reduced. So you find yourself also being anemic. And the next one that we have is leaky gut. And this is something that most people don't even know they have. When you talk of leaky gut, it means your gut is leaking, exactly the way I've said. Your small intestine is 100% leaking, meaning the lining of the small intestine has yani food haingi. Instead of the food going into the muscles of the small intestine, the nutrients being absorbed, it happens that the small intestine now takes in everything. Yani the small intestine ni kama inakosa kuabsorb, and now the drugs, the toxins, the food, the dirt that you are supposed to take out as long call, ukienda choo, inakuwa absorbed into the stream. Hakuna breaks. Anything is absorbable at this point. It now stops being the small intestine absorbing it. It now starts going straight into the bloodstream. And the leaky gut is bad. If I say this, it's really bad. Why? Because our small intestine, what it does, it kind of filters out everything bad so that it can allow the absorption of the nutrients into the bloodstream. Now, anything that is not good, anything that is toxic, or anything that is unhealthy into your system, now inasaidia kwenda choo. Because remember, now the kidney does its part, and now that is where now when we talk of toilet, we involve something called the kidney and the bladder. Now that helps in removing everything. We also involve the large intestine. So it's very important to understand that the small intestine just absorbs the nutrients, only that, and the medicine that we're eating. The moment anything else is absorbed, it becomes a challenge. So leaky gut ni kama imekuwa permeable. So the lining ni kama imeanza kupata mashimo. And finally, good and bad bacteria. We talked about this, and I was telling you guys, good bacteria is very necessary for digestion. It's very necessary for the production of enzymes. It's very necessary for the flow of the natural and healthy flow of your digestive gut. But a bad bacteria, like we said, can cause infections, can cause challenges that are happening, can really even affect your intestines and your small intestines. It can also cause the antibiotics or the medicines that you're taking not to be used, because remember, the medicine you're taking yenye daktari anakupea inafaa kufanya kazi kwa system. So when you have bad bacteria, it can actually affect the good usage of the medicine. So when we talk of healthy guts, just to kind of wrap it up, they say your gut and your health connect. They communicate together. Basically, whatever happens in your stomach, in your stomach or in your gut affects your brain. Like I said, when you're moody, you feel it in your gut. When you're hungry, when you tell yourself, hey, I'm hungry, you feel it also. Unasikia kiu kwa throat. You're like, hey, I'm hungry. For example, when you tell your mind, hey, because usually things like craving are not things we need in our body. Some cravings like soda, sugar, it's the want of the increasing of glucose. So what happens is the moment you tell yourself you feel like taking sugar, you start feeling like, hey, yeah, I'm low in glucose. So what I'm trying to tell you here is the gut and the brain are one. And the enzymes and the something called serotonin, which is the CNS, which is produced in the brain, helps in the normal functioning of your gut. So we are talking about the bacteria that we've talked about. We're also talking about the behaviors that you experience in your system. That is why tunasemanga mtoto akipewa too much sugar ako hyperactive. It's because now you've increased the amount of serotonin in the brain that is not necessary. Mtoto anaanza kuwa na moods, ama the mood anapata ni too much excitement and too much energy. So basically, whatever you eat, 100% feeds your brain. So just to wrap this up, as we continue and talk about how do we keep a healthy gut, and the first thing we talked about exercise. The number one thing you're supposed to do is manage your weight. Remember, adding weight can be due to genetics and can be due to poor health and poor eating diets. When you're not eating well, when you're eating the wrong foods, you end up adding weight. Excuse me. You end up adding weight. And when you add weight, your gut is bothered. Fat gets layered everywhere. I won't call a fat person, but I'll say an overweight or an obese person has fat that has been layered everywhere. And what happens with this kind of person is they start having complications in their body. And that includes the gut. Why? Because now you're feeding your body anything, you start having unakuwa overweight. Now, when the World Health Organization spoke, they said you're supposed to be normal. Usikwe underweight, usikwe overweight, usikwe obese, na usikwe morbid obese. Just be normal. Meaning, make sure your weight and your height, when you do the calculations, give you a BMI of 18.5 to 24.9. Before we continue, I just want you to write this down. If you do not know your BMI, just let me show you how to calculate. It's simple. Your weight in kilograms over your height in meters squared. I'll give you an example with me. My weight is 57 kgs over my height in meters squared, which is, I think it's 1 point. I'm not sure. But anyway, when I was counting my BMI, it added up to about 23, 22. Yeah, my BMI is 22. So you know your height, you know your weight. If you know your height only in inches, go to Google, say 154 inches, convert to centimeters or meters, what akupea. But I think mine is, 1.5 something, I'm not sure. The next thing is nutrition and diets. You need this. This is the core. I started with saying the first and number one cause of poor gut health is the poor diet and nutrition we have in our system. So when you talk about nutrition, we're talking about everything from the heart to the weight, to the stress that you give yourself, to the immunity, to the digestive health. We're talking about everything, even the bones. We are talking about the mind. Everything that we're talking about, that is what nutrition does in your body. And World Health Organization said, this is the way everyone should eat. Number one, plenty of whole grains. Why? Whole grains gives you the vitamins and it gives you the lipids and sterols that you need in your system that help to oil your cells so that they can allow food and nutrients to be absorbed easily. So what I'm saying is whole grains are very healthy, very necessary in your system. No matter how many times you try and skip ugali ya brown, mchele ya white, ya brown, remember all this is going to affect your health because mchele ya white does not have the vitamins and it doesn't have the nutrients that are necessary that mchele ya brown has. So they said, stack yourself in whole grains because whole grains feeds your cell. The next thing they said is fruits and vegetables. Eat fruits and vegetables, please. It may be expensive, but one thing you need to understand, there is no price tag on your health, but we as human beings are putting a price tag on our health. When we are going to purchase a fruit, we say it's too expensive, but we can actually purchase sugar, we can purchase a donut or a biscuit because it's cheap. So are you labeling your body as cheap or expensive. So you're putting a price tag. So when you say fruits and vegetables, please eat fruits and vegetables because your body is aging. You're not getting younger. And the more you age, the more you need to build your immune system. When you were in high school and primary, we were told fruits and vegetables. What does it do? It increases your immunity in the system. It helps you fight off diseases. And we just talked about good bacteria and bad bacteria. We also talked about immune diseases, having an immune symptom that can affect your gut health. So fruits and vegetables will boost your immunity. Proteins are very necessary. When we talk of proteins, guys, we're talking about white meat and we're talking about plant proteins. Please reduce on the animal proteins, but have plenty of white meat and plenty of plant proteins. This is what red meat does. It produces, I know many here love nyama choma. I see we are 116 people, and I know out of all these 116 people, 80% of us eat nyama choma, and we love it. I also know out of 116 people here, there are majority of us who eat meat more than 5 times in a month. I know that, red meat. So when you eat this red meat, especially nyama ya ng'ombe yenye imefraiwa na imekarangwa sana, what happens is the burning and the creating your nyama choma, it creates something called, it makes the meat carcinogenic. So when it goes to the system, it can cause something like cancer. And cancer is mainly caused by carcinogens. Red meat is good for you, but please take it in minimal quantity. The best meat that is necessary, that will provide the right nutrients in your body, is white meat and plant proteins. When we talk of white meat, we're talking of fish, chicken, and pork, for those who eat pork. If you're eating proteins, again, please do less frying and more boiling. You'll thank me later. We all want to age youthfully. We want to look good, and we also want to have good gut health. And good bacteria is produced by eating. The bacteria needs protein so that it can become strong. So when you're eating good proteins that have been boiled, trust me, your good bacteria becomes strong. And finally, fats and sugars. Tafadhali, the World Health Organization says it's 1 tablespoon of fats and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And as Kenyans, we love our tea so much that sometimes we can have 5 cups of tea, 1 tablespoon of sugar in each. And aside from that, the young people love sodas, we like juices. All these things are not good for us. So you're advised to only have 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of fat, because the sugar you need is in the fruits and vegetables. The fats you need is in the proteins, it's in the fruits and vegetables, and it's in the whole grains. So everything you need, the fats and sugars are we're already taking them in every other category. But this is how we are eating. This is how we eat. Very badly. We eat so much cereals and starch, and cereals and starch, the spaghetti you're eating, the rice, the bread, what else? The chapati, the mandazi, all these things we're eating are just pure starch. They are 100%, they have no nutrients whatsoever. And when you take it, what it does in your body is just spike the glucose. Increase the glucose in your system. That is why you find with this diet that we're eating, where we barely eat any fruits and vegetables, we stack ourselves up on milk and dairy products. What to our blue band, we're doing butter, we are doing all these things like yogurt and milk, especially the yogurt that is being sold out there. Most of them have chemicals in it. And we're also eating so much fats and oils, so much sugar, so much pizzas, so the sweets, chocolate, so much bad food, that what it does is it causes a challenge in our system. We end up developing issues like diabetes. And we talked about that diabetes is part of the gut health because it's in the digestion. Remember, the food will go to the pancreas. So it's definitely part of the gut health. Another thing we develop is weight problem. We have high cholesterol. We know high cholesterol is part of the cardiovascular, but it starts from the gut. Whatever you're feeding your gut, it's being absorbed into the bloodstream. So if it's not being absorbed into the bloodstream, it is being it's being stored as fat in the body. Hard on heart, that against the cardiovascular. Headaches, some of us have headaches and we don't know why. We've just mentioned challenges dealing with the gut and the brain connection. If you don't eat well, trust me, you're gonna end up having headaches in your body. Acne, some of us have very bad acne. Dental distress, this is a very big challenge people assume. The moment you start having dental distress, let me tell you, you need to change your diet immediately, because other challenges will start developing. Depression, like I said, whatever you eat affects your brain. Shortness of breath, yes, whatever you eat also will affect your lungs. Bloating and puffiness, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, part of the gut health, extra calories. What I'm trying to tell you is your diet is 100%. Any challenge you're going to have in the body starts from the gut. Every single challenge you experience starts from the gut. A headache starts from the gut. An issue with the heart starts from the gut. So the gut is also the core. It feeds the other parts, the other systems in our bodies. So when we talk of feeding, we mean you should eat healthy. But because we're not eating healthy, majority of us, what Your Life suggests is you need to detox. You need to detox your body. And detoxing means once in a while, take a break. Give yourself a vacation. You know it doesn't have to be an expensive vacation. You can even just give yourself 1 week where you're alone in the house and just doing hobbies that make you happy, meeting your friends, you're relaxing yourself. Another thing is supplement, 100% supplement. Let me tell you the difference between Africans and Americans or Europeans. The difference between us and the people who are overseas is the fact that we eat unhealthy, but we do not supplement. But the white man has been taught to supplement even with their very bad diet. Their diet is worse than ours because majority of the foods they're eating have chemicals. So you find that the majority of people in America die at the age of about 80. But in Kenya, in Africa, it has been generalized to about 70 because of the people die with challenges. So they supplement. They are very serious with supplementation. They don't ask questions. They do it seriously. Why? Because they know the foods they're eating doesn't give them all the nutrients they need, because they're eating foods with a lot of chemicals. Same thing to us. We're eating a lot of GMO, which does not have nutrients. So you need to supplement. Another thing is reduce weight. If you're overweight, one of the ways to detox is to shed off weight. And one of the ways to lose weight is to eat healthy. So detoxing, you can do a detox with supplementation and healthy foods. For example, when you go to YouTube, utaambiwa kunywa apple, spinach, something they do apple, spinach, carrot, and beetroot. Yani, this is just an example of a shake you can take. Take it for the next 1 week. You can go on a Daniel fast. Christians know what a Daniel fast is. A Daniel fast is eating vegetables. And when you decide to do a detox with vegetables in your system, fruits and vegetables, and also supplement, trust me, you'll have removed so many toxins in your system. Another thing is those people who've been on medication for a long period of time, it's best you detox, because we all know medication comes from chemicals. Majority of the medications do not come from food. It's a chemical that has been manufactured by someone in the lab. Or they've used a drug that can be addictive into the system or can cause other side effects. So if you're on medication, it's best you detox twice a year. And another thing is people with skin challenges. If you have skin challenges, acne is still disturbing you, or you still have issues with rashes, eczema, what your body is saying is, we need to detox. Your body is not saying, oh, your skin is bad. Your body is saying your diet, your body is sick, it's unhealthy. If you do not do something about it, we're going to have major issues. So I usually tell people, if you're having issues with the skin, shukuru Mungu, because at least mwili yako inakuambia ni kubaya. So if you're having skin challenges, detox. And finally, people who work in industries that create so many chemicals and chemical products, you need to detox. You're inhaling them. Your skin is, remember, your skin is an open way. It inhales, it breathes out and breathes in. Yes, your skin. So whatever you put lotion on your skin, it's being absorbed inside. So if you go to the industry, you're inhaling, you're absorbing it, your eyes also absorb it. Yani all this, in a way we drink it because sometimes we don't wash our hands well. So we need to detox because we want to reduce challenges developing. And I'll tell you this, many people who work in industries that create a lot of chemicals do not live past 40 or past 50 because they start developing challenges that actually make them very sick and they end up dead. So just in closing, Neolife asks, what can we do? What is the solution we're giving? Number one, Neolife has said, we want to bridge the gap. There's a gap there. If I told you to eat healthy, majority of us wouldn't. And even if you did, 100%, you'll only be able to give 70% of what you can do. Why? Because the 30% we are lacking in the nutrients that we're supposed to be eating in the foods. Because majority of the foods we are eating, like I said, are GMO. So what does Neolife offer? If inakwambia, come, let us supplement. Because what we've done is we have gone into every category, that is the whole grains, the fruits and vegetables, the protein and the fats and sugars in that food pyramid, and we've deduced nutrients from all these foods and all these vegetables, all these crops, so that we can put them in a tablet or a capsule to increase the nutrients in your body. I was talking a lot about the cell, and what Neolife has done is they focus on the cellular level. The cell has a lot in it. It has the cell membrane, it has the nucleus, it has the mitochondria. So when you look at majority of Neolife products, they have been focused on helping something in the cell. And one of the products that we have is TreeNN. And TreeNN it feeds your cell. We talked about whole grains. So TreeNN has been stacked with a lot of whole grains in it. It's a 3-in-1 product, meaning it contains 3 whole grains. It is wheat, oats, and sorghum. And what the 3 whole grains do is they come and feed your cells and stop them from being unhealthy to healthy. When we look at this diagram, I don't know if sorry, let's just go back. I wish we could zoom, but when you look at this product, let me see, yes, sorry. I want to take a pointer. Allow me to take a pointer because I want you to see. There it is. So when you look at this unhealthy cell, where my pointer is, it looks like food ikiingia, it bounces out. Very, very minimal nutrients are being absorbed and very little waste is getting out of the body. So you find this cell becomes sick, inakuwa gonjwa, and that is where you start feeling like you're tired. Now you can't go to the toilet in peace because the waste won't leave the cell. The next thing, but what TreeNN has done is TreeNN has come. They've produced it from the whole grains that contains lipids and sterols and vitamin E and K. And what that does, it comes, it oils the entire cell membrane. Hapa nje tu, inakuja inaipea mafuta, and it allows it to become semi-permeable. And when it is semi-permeable, it allows the food to get in with ease, and it allows the waste to get in. So what TreeNN does is when your nutrients, because your cells die and are produced after every 30 days, new cells keep coming in your body. So when you're taking TreeNN, it helps the cells that are being born become healthy and strong. The next one is the carotenoid. It will protect your cell by increasing the immunity to fight the diseases that we develop in our body. And our carotenoid will increase immunity by 37% in 20 days. If your immunity was at 30, it moves to 67% in 20 days. The next is the omega-3. Omega-3 will reduce inflammation in your body. And when we talk of inflammation, I mean anywhere. Your heart, your brain, it's good for your joint. Omega-3 is a major product. Guys, if there's anything you're not supposed to miss in your house, it is TreeNN and omega-3. Why? Omega-3, because we all have a brain, we all have a heart, and we all have joints. Now, what omega-3 does, it comes and works on reducing inflammation everywhere. They say it reduces 68% of the inflammation in any part of the body. We also have essential vitamins and minerals. These are the minerals and the vitamins that that are produced from the foods. So we kind of just absorb them in our bloodstream when we take foods. And majority of the time is we cannot have enough. For example, you can never have enough of vitamin D. You can never have enough of vitamin A. You can never have enough of vitamin C. Those are things we intake in our system at seasonal times, because vitamin C, machungwa na lemons. Vitamin A, vitu kama carrots. And vitamin E, vitamin D, meat, actually. Some meat produces vitamin D, but we do it in low quantity. So when we talk of the entire Pro-Vitality kit, it's a very important thing for starting on the cell. What it does is it makes your cell healthy, so that now it can allow your gut to be healthier. Remember, your gut starts from the cell. Everything you have contains a cell in it. So the next thing, the next products we have is the breakfast pack. This is the Pro-Vitality and the New Life Shake. New Life Shake is a protein shake that's very good. It contains the proteins. And I'll give you a testimony. When I know someone who was very sick and he had issues with the gut, and his issue was so bad he couldn't eat. Yani ya angekula because hana appetite. So he had to be put on the drip, but food. So they had to kumwekea chakula directly to the bloodstream. You've ever seen those people where wamekewa your drip lakini ni chakula, because akikula it's not being absorbed. So that's the challenge my friend had, and we put the person on New Life Shake. And I remember when we went to visit him in hospital, he was like, hey, I'm feeling really, really better right now. He actually had the energy to talk. He was so sick, he couldn't even talk. He was smiling more. So one thing I can tell you is, if you know anyone with gut health issues, especially people who are very awana appetite, put them on New Life Shake. Pro-Vitality and New Life Shake will really help them with their system. And we've also talked about detoxifying. You need to detox, and detoxing will help in all these places you see. The entire gut, that is the work of the detox program, especially with the small intestine and the large intestine. That is the work of the detox program. And we have our detox program. These are just the benefits. Probably if you have a phone, I'll advise you to take a screenshot, because this is not something I'll go through right now. If you're on a phone, please take a screenshot of benefits of a detox program and read them later. The next one. The detox program is very key for every part of your system. I've just told you the gut health helps in the cardiovascular system. It helps in the bone and joint system, which is the skeletal system. It helps in the immune system. It helps in the respiratory system. It helps in the skin. You know, we talk about the skin. And the gut health helps those all aspects. And the detox program, our detox program, contains a product called Gallicalium, Stage 6, and Beta-Guard. It's a 4-day detox program where we tell you, take these products for the next 4 days consistently without missing. Eat healthy foods consistently without missing. Drink lots of water consistently without missing. And I kid you not, your gut will feel better. Stage 6, I've taken it before. It helps you remove all the dirt that is especially in your small intestine and large intestine. What I mean is, kwa lugha yenye si ya kufurahisha, utaenda haja kubwa ukismile. There are people who have issues with going to the toilet. You will be smiling in the toilet because it won't hurt your stomach in any way, but it will remove the boil from the stomach. We also have incorporated the New Life Shake. What the New Life Shake does, it gives you more energy in your system and increases your appetite, so you can be able to eat while smiling. So these are the products we have for the gut health. We have the Beta-Guard. Beta gut is an antioxidant, and what the beta gut does, it will increase the strength, it increases the good bacteria in your system, and also it will fight the disease, it helps protect your cells. So beta gut is very good for detoxifying in the bloodstream. So if you know if you want the detox program, beta gut will help detoxify in the bloodstream. Multi-mineral contains the minerals we need. Fiber tablets increases the fiber in our system. Very good for people who are also diabetic. And fiber tablet, guys, it helps in the small intestine. Let me tell you, a key product in the small intestine is fiber. It is fiber. So it will help in the small intestine. So stage 6, kwenda choo. Pia fiber itasaidia kwenda choo, but stage 6 is the best. Gallicalium, another antioxidant we have here, 100% protect your body system, reduces allergies that you're having. If you have any food allergy or any allergy in your system, gallicalium is the one to go for. And TNN, feed your cell, allow the medicine you're taking to be easily absorbed in the cells. It also allows the supplements and the foods you're taking to be easily absorbed in the cell. And that is the end of my presentation. Just to sum it up, simple, guys. If there's anything, you need to supplement. Your gut is not something to be joked with. Let me give you a story before we close. I have a friend who has had an issue with the gut, and it's the small intestine. And his gut imempea mashida nyingi because he hasn't, it's been 7, I think he's been in university for now 9 years, 8-9 years, because he's been so sick. There's a whole year he couldn't go to school. And when I say the sickness, I mean he can't eat, he lost weight. Lose weight, you see, I don't think, let me explain. You lose weight, you move from 50 kgs to about 30. That's 20 kgs lost. And as an adult, if you're at 30 kgs, it means things are bad. His gut had given him so much issues. He has gone to India, I think, twice. And the medication that he takes only comes from India. Kenya hatuna. And I'll tell you this, Kenya has not, we do not have a facility that easily solves things like gut health. If your gut health becomes so bad, you'll end up having to go to India to solve the issue, and the medicine you'll be taking will be coming from India. You have to import it. And another thing about his medicine, it comes in a container ya kitu baridi. It has to be refrigerated. It has to be refrigerated. So when you look at that aspect, I usually ask people, between supplementing and eating healthy, and between going to India and paying for that medication, which one is easier for you? Which one would you prefer? Even if money was not an issue, which one would you prefer? Because ile siku transportation it happened mbaya na ndege. Because there's a day I went to see him, the medicine was late. And let me tell you, he was in so much pain. The medicine was late for 2 weeks. He was in so much pain. Yani lazima afosiwe kukula. Because you see, if he doesn't eat, he can't keep his body strong. So guys, just to sum it up, please go think about this. I know and I have a cousin who died because of gut health. He had issues with his gut health. He ended up dying. It was bad, very bad. He was in hospital for a couple of months before he passed on. And I don't think they had thought of taking him to India. I think maybe they had thought of taking him to India, but by the time they were taking him to India, he just alienda too. So please, just up. If anything else, your gut is the most important, because your gut is going to fill every other part of your system. So right now, wherever you are, if you think you need the detox, order. And if there's one product, if you cannot afford every product, get yourself a TNN and a garlic. Those two, kamata. If you feel like you want to go through the entire detox program, take it. It is advised. Every single one of us should detoxify our body once a year. Because no matter how many times you try, you cannot avoid the toxins that we inhale and the toxins we absorb in our system. So kama uko hapa and you're a guest or a distributor, go purchase yourself the detox program. And if you can't afford the detox program, buy the TNN. Nothing is expensive until you set your mind for it being expensive. Do not put a price tag on your on yourself, because utaenda huko nje and you'll purchase something that is expensive and it won't help you. A car won't help you. You will die and leave the car here. Even a house, it won't help you. What's the deal of buying a big house and you can't even enjoy it because you're sick? So number one, focus on your health. Invest. I'm saying this because I've seen so many people in so much pain, and I know they don't even enjoy anything, even food, something you're supposed to be enjoying it as simple as that. So invest in this. I don't talk too much, masaa zangu zimeisha, but thank you so much for giving me this time. So I'll give it back to Fred.
Wow, Rahab, that was amazing. I can just see the passion. I mean, as you're sharing the knowledge about gut health. Guys, you have it. She's done it so well. I cannot add anything. Gut health is so important. What I can say is, if you're here and you're a guest, you have two options. You can either buy the products from the person who invited you, or you can join and become a distributor and start buying for yourself. I always advise people, it is better to join and become a distributor, start buying the products for yourself, and start changing other people's lives, because definitely as you sort out your own health issues, you can then start helping other people so that they can live a longer, healthier life. Now, remember, by just joining, it's not just about buying the products. You can also decide to do it as a business. It's a business you can do in your free time and make some extra income. And especially in these tough times of today, we all need an extra income. So you can start making some money from your life and sort out some of your challenges as far as finances are concerned. If you want to know how to do that, if you want to know how to make money from your life, I welcome you tomorrow at 8 o'clock on the same link that you have today, the same link you have used. We'll be having a seminar from our leader from South Africa, Pascal Olo, and he'll be going through how to make money in your life, how to become successful, how to become rich, how to make a lot of money, how to travel the world, and really enjoy life. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. It will be very, very powerful. Otherwise, it was a great session. We've enjoyed ourselves being here. I've learned a lot. And that's the thing about these trainings. You always learn. Whenever you attend, you learn. Next Sunday, we'll be back again. We'll be looking at another aspect of health. We'll have a different speaker. And I tell you, it will be another learning session for all of us. So have a restful evening. This video will be available a little bit later today. Talk to the person who invited you. He's going to give you a copy of this video, and you can just listen to it over and over again. I've seen a few questions, but I know when you get the video and you listen to it, those questions will actually be answered, because the issues that were raised were actually addressed by Rahab. Otherwise, have a great evening. God bless you. See you again next Sunday, if I don't see you tomorrow at the meeting at 8 o'clock. Thank you and God bless. Bye.